End. Introduction. End, or another neat tool, is a Java-based build tool designed to be cross-platform, easy to use, extensible, and scalable. It can be used in a small personal project, or it can be used in a large multi-team software project. Current version is the 1.8.4 released in May 2012. Because End understands testing and deployment, it can be used for a unified build test deploy process, either from a single command on the command line or a button press on an end-aware Java IDE, such as NetBeans, Eclipse, IDEA, and more. End uses XML files called build files to describe how to build, test, and deploy an application. Using XML enables developers to edit files directly or in any XML editor and facilitates parsing the build file at runtime. Using XML as the format also enables developers to create templates easily and to generate build files dynamically. Usually, the build file is called build.xml. And features. It is cross-platform, handling Java class path and file directory structures in a portable manner. It is very fast. Java routines such as the Java compiler or the code to make a jar file can all start inside the End JVM, reducing process startup delays. And tasks are also designed to do dependency checking to avoid doing any more work than necessary. It has built-in support for J2EE development, such as EJB compilation and packaging. It has very simple syntax, which is easy to learn, especially if you have used XML before. It is easy to use, eliminating the full-time makefile engineer common on large make-based software projects. It integrates tightly with the JUnit test framework for XP-style unit testing. It is easily extensible using Java. Also, you can use End to perform transactions and manual tasks as build processes, deployments, tests, and also copy code from other directories, which leads you to automate your developing process. Installation of End. To use End, we have two scenarios. One is to use End from the command line, and the other is using End from Eclipse. Let's see the first option. First, you have to download the file proposed on the slide. Once you have loaded the zip file, extract the content on your C drive. After that, you will see a new folder called Apache End 1.8.4. To be able to run End scripts from the command line, you have to add to your class path the bin folder in which End was installed, and also you have to set a new environment variable on your Windows system. Please follow the steps proposed here to set the requirements to run End script from the command line. After you have followed the previous steps, open a command line and type End. If you configure all the things properly, you will see a message like the one shown on the slide. Of course, the message is an error, but it's just because there is no build XML file on the same directory, which is fine for now. Continue with the following exercise. Creating a build XML file. This is the file in which we are going to define all the tasks that we want to have available for our project, and has already defined tasks which help you to add the details of each task. This file contains a collection of targets. Inside each target are task declarations, which are statements of the actions and must take to build that target. Targets can state their dependencies on other targets, producing a graph of dependencies. When executing a target, all its dependents must execute first. And tasks. Jar. Jars a set of files. This will create a Java archive or jar file in which all the files you have defined on the task's details will be included. War. An extension of the jar task with special treatment for files that should end up in the webinf.lib folder, webinf classes folder, or webinf directories of the web application archive. JavaDoc generates code documentation using the JavaDoc tool. The source directory will be recursively scanned for Java source files to process, but only those matching the inclusion rules, and not matching the exclusion rules will be passed to the JavaDoc tool. This allows wildcards to be used to choose between package names, reducing verbosity and management costs over time. Copy. Copy is a file or resource collection to a new file or directory. By default, files are only copied if the source file is newer than the destination file, or when the destination file does not exist. However, you can explicitly overwrite files with the overwrite attribute. mkdir creates a directory. Also, non-existent parent directories are created when necessary. Does nothing if the directory already exists. javac compiles a Java source tree. The source and destination directory will be recursively scanned for Java source files to compile. Only Java files that have no corresponding class file, where the class file is older than the Java file, will be compiled. Property sets a property by name and value or set of properties from file or resource in the project. Properties are case sensitive. And built-in properties. Some of the built-in properties include the following. Base dir, the absolute path of the project's base dir, a set with the base dir attribute of project. File separator, the operating system separator character. Ain't Java version, the JVM version and detected. Currently, it can hold the values 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, and 1.6. User home, the home user directory. Username, the name of the user who logged into the PC. Take a look at this example of an AND script file. As a summary, this AND script have two targets defined. The first, generate jar, generates a jar file of the project. The second, copy lib dep, copies all the jar files needed to a lib folder on your project. Let's take a look at the first target. Each target is defined with its name and an optional description. Also, you can define if this target depends on another target. This dependency means that the target in which is dependent will be executed first. Inside the generate jar target is defined the task to be used, in this case, the jar task. The destination file is defined using the dest file element and also the name of the jar file generated. Inside this jar task is defined all the files that will be included on the jar file. As you can see, it will be included all the Java classes. Let's take a look at the second target, copy libdep. This target will copy all the dependency jar files needed by the project. Inside this target, the copy task is being used. The first thing to be set is the folder in which the files will be copied. As you can see, is the jar file lib folder. Inside this task, there are defined all the files that will be included. And in this case, it will be included all the jar files that the project has. The project definition includes the name of the project and which is the default target to be executed. Please review the additional comments about the previous and script regarding the first target. Please review the additional comments about the previous and script regarding the second target. Please review the summary about the build XML and script file. Run and from Eclipse. If you want to execute and script from Eclipse, you don't have to install anything extra because Eclipse already has Ant support. You just have to add the Ant view to the perspective in which you're working. Go to the window menu, show view, and then Ant. This will show you a window like the one shown on the slide. On this window, you can add as many Ant scripts as you want, and you can execute also any target. To add a new Ant script, just click over the icon at the left side of the view, the one with the Ant and a plus sign. This will open a window with all your projects in which you can select the build XML file you want to include. Once you have selected the build XML file, just press the OK button. Once you have selected the Ant script file, the Ant view will look like the following being shown on the slide. Once you have added the Ant script, you can expand the node and check every target configured on the script. As you can see, the Ant view shows you the project and which is the default target. Double-clicking on one of the targets will execute it. Also, you can click on the target and click on the 4 button from left to right to execute the target. If you execute the generate jar target on Eclipse, you will see an output like the one shown here on the slide. This means that the target was successfully executed. Run Ant from command line. To run an Ant script from the command line, you have to first go to the directory in which the build XML file is. As you can see on the example, once on the folder, you just have to execute the Ant command followed by the target you want to execute. If you name your Ant script as build XML, the Ant command will try to execute this file by default. Please continue with the exercise. Ant properties file. As you may have noticed on the previous Ant script, we have some values repeated and others very specific for the project we're working. This can be changed a little bit in order to have a more general Ant script that you can use on several projects. This is where a properties file comes in place. You can define some values or variables on a properties file and use it on your Ant script. On this properties file, we're going to define some variables. Take a look at the ones proposed on the slide. Create a new build properties file under your source folder. Add variables proposed on the slide. Once the variables are being defined on the properties file, we have to change the end script. One of the changes is to set the properties file on the script. This is made on line 7. On line 10, we have used the new variables being set on the properties file, and in this case, the folder in which the jar file will be created and the name of the jar file. Also, on line 11, we're using the folder in which the classes are. To use a variable, you have to use the $sign followed by a curly bracket. Now the script has a more general configuration. Please review the additional comments about the previous modifications. Please continue with the exercise. J2EE Web Application and Scripts. Regarding J2EE applications, either if it's a Word file or an ER file, it has its own particular configurations. These applications are being packed on specific files, so that's why there is a specific end task to create these kind of files. Take a look at the example. This is a basic example of the creation of a Word file for a web application. Review the comments about the file.